Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to semi-finals night at the Open Squash Classic. We're very grateful you're here. We've got a fantastic evening of squash tonight. Open Squash is a non-profit. We are making squash more accessible and affordable for everyone. So that includes folks who are on a different income or from a diverse background. We have 13 courts in downtown New York, and 20% of our members are on some kind of income-based assistance. So please do feel good about buying a ticket tonight, because the contributions you're making to our junior squash are pushing forward the future of squash. So thank you. We're going to have some drama tonight, I think, in our semis. In our first match, it's going to be a really fantastic watch. The underdog in this encounter by seeding won the last time they played. These players have only played once before. They played in 2023 at the US Open, and the other player won for a. So who knows what's going to happen tonight? Our first player won the Nash Cup as second seed, beating Tori Mallet and Emily Woodlock in the British Open, sponsored by Dunlop. And Troy, would you please welcome world ranked number 30, Katie Mallet. And Katie's opponent tonight almost needs no introduction here at Open Squash, where she's a sponsored player. She did tremendously well in the Paris Open in September, beating Tina Gillis, the world number 7. I would advise you to watch her playing on any video of that tournament. They're all incredible matches to watch. She won the St James Open and Atlantic Challenger events in March and April. So without further ado, would you please welcome world rank number 17, Miss Farida Mohammed.
Welcome to the first match, the first of 4 semifinals here at the Open Squash Classic 2024, held at Open Squash FIDI in New York City. My name's Nicole Bunyan, and joining me this evening, all the way from New Zealand, is Paul Hornsby.
Sorry, Nicole, did you say this evening? It's actually 10 o'clock in the morning.
It's true. True. You're having this with your cup of coffee and your breakfast. Decent wake up.
Oh yeah.
We've got quite a good lineup of semifinals here. Farida Mohammed on the left side of your screen in the white. She's the number 1 seed. And she's taking on Katie Mallet, now on the left side of your screen in the red. Matches her hair. Quite a contrast of styles that we're going to see here today between these two, I think. Katie Mallet just fresh off of her win the other week at the Nash Cup in London, Ontario. She was number 1 seed and she came through to win that one. Been pro for a few years now. Reached 34 in the world, and slightly below that right now. And just 1 year difference between these two. Mallet's 21 years old. So still a lot of experience, you have to say, between these two, wouldn't you, Paul? But still quite young.
Yeah, absolutely. They've obviously both come through pretty good and well-rounded junior careers, and as you say, it's quite an interesting clash. I know Farida Mohammed is she can be really quite ruthless, can't she, in the way she goes about business. She's barely put a foot wrong to this point. Only spent 46 minutes on court so far, whereas Katie Mallett has she's come through against the Sedans first of all. Brilliant win in the quarterfinals against Malaysia's Rachel Arnold, so that'll fuel her with confidence. But she has spent a significant time more duration on court, coming through a slippery encounter against the local player Marina Stefanoni in the second round there. 2-love down, turned that match around to come through in 5. So although she'll have put a bit more time in on the court, she must be feeling pretty good about things the way she's come through to the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit more court time. I think also her match against Stefanoni was on the back courts. I was watching some of that, and it wasn't super long in duration, but I was watching it, and it was full four-corner squash, and I was kind of feeling for them. They both looked like they're bent over double at several stages of the match. So, like you said, a lot of court time for both those. For Malif in particular. And Mohammed's style is quite ruthless, as you said, Paul. She likes to get in and out as fast as possible, and the glass court, it's going to suit both of these players, but in slightly different ways, I think. Mohammed loves the power, whereas Malif really likes to take the pace off the ball, has a lot of skill, likes to use the cut. So, going to see an interesting contrast.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Farida Mohammed comes out here, because my last experience commentating on Farida was in Malaysia last year, and honestly, Nicole, in her, I think it was a second round encounter, she just looked unplayable. Didn't put a foot wrong, hitting all of her targets, just a fantastic performance. And then the following day, she came out and she couldn't keep the ball out of the tin. It was a complete role reversal. So she's had 2 really convincing performances. So let's see if she can back it up with a third one today.
Mohammed, who kicks us off in the first semi-final here in New York. Mohammed's actually recently graduated from Columbia University, which is based here in New York, and so she would play a lot at open squash, including at this club downtown, which actually only opened a year ago. So it's one of the, it's got to be the newest club in the city. I think it's 8 courts. I should really know if there's 8 or 9, because I play there as well. But it's got a permanent glass court, which you see here, which is a tremendous asset. I think it's the only one, within probably an hour's drive or so of New York. So great to be able to practice on and obviously host big events like this as well.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive looking glass court there, and what an unbelievable training facility for the likes of yourself and the other pros. Certainly living in New Zealand, that's something we'd be very envious of. There's only one permanent glass court in the whole country here, so it's one of the various reasons why a lot of our top pros head overseas for training. Not just the facilities, but the exposure to the other best players in the world. So it's impressive stuff.
Well, that volley boast is exactly the kind of kamikaze style squash we're going to see from Mohammed, I think, here. She's not going to waste any time settling in. She loves to play on a glass court. She makes this one her own with her aggressive hitting style. You can see that here. She's looking to take everything as early as possible.
Yeah, you can see that she's wanting to get the pace nice and high, jumping on the volley there, not quite balanced on it, was she, on that backhand side? So it is a little bit of a balancing act when you try to play that kind of super aggressive squash, come out of the blocks firing. You don't want to be littered with errors at the start of a match, because it can have a knock-on effect, not only for your own performance, but it allows your opponent to settle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Mohammed had a really good performance recently in Qatar. She was up 2-love against Amina Orfi, world junior champion, and actually lost in 5. I spoke to her about it a little bit, and she just said that the first couple games she didn't really set a foot wrong, and then she started to think about it too much. And I have to say, I feel like Mohammed, when she plays her best, she's just doing exactly what you see there. She's not thinking about it too much. She's just taking the ball early, being very, very decisive. She loves to hit these flicks and these holds, and sometimes she just overcooks them a little bit. But she's so big and tall and strong across the middle, and she can use that power and that reach. It makes it really difficult for her opponents.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying there, Nicole. She's somebody who plays with instinct, isn't she? She probably doesn't have a sort of set idea of how a rally's going to unfold. She's just going to roll with the punches and pick her opportunities. She's certainly got the racket skills to back it up.
Well, I think the challenge for Malif here is going to be finding a way to use her racket skills to nullify the power of Mohammed. She's got to keep the ball tight to the sidewalls, stick her in the back corners. This glass court, as many of them do, it really rewards an attacking length. Obviously keeping the ball tight to the sidewalls as well.
Yeah, 100%. And you can see this last couple of rallies, when she's taking the ball into the front of the court, unless that ball is going in with quality, she's getting punished. And, you're seeing Mohammed get on and flick the ball around. It's really going to be an uncomfortable place for Katie Malif to be if she doesn't take away that time from her opponent, and also the angle.
Yeah, I feel like right now as well, while this white ball is hot and bouncy, Mohammed's able to use that to her advantage, and there is a fast front wall here, and right now, because of Mohammed's pace that she can put on the ball, she's able to just rip it through and not giving Malif any time to settle. But as this ball softens up, I actually think that it could suit Malif a little bit. But see there, just too much time for Mohammed. She's got to be one of the top 5 hardest hitters on the women's tour, I reckon.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she really winds up. Again, it's that little flick. She doesn't really know which way to turn, Katie Malif, especially when she's leaving her opponent in front of her. She's got to really try to get that ball running through and find the back corners a little bit more consistently. Needs to contain her opponent better than she's done so far. That's well taken. It's a pretty poor volley from Mohammed. So it would be a good time for Katie Malif to really solidify here. Maybe try to prolong the rallies a little bit. Still a way into this first game for it. She'll take that with both hands, won't she? Top of the tin from the Egyptian.
Well, it's 4 game balls for Mohammed. You have to say that she's been the more proactive and accurate of the two in this first game. Just far too much time on the ball for Mohammed. That's actually kind of fortunate. That could have easily been a stroke.
Good, couldn't it? Yeah, the drop just looked to clip the sidewall first, so the referee obviously thought there was enough distance there for it not to be a stroke. But that's going to be a danger zone again. I found the top of the tin. That was a very unforced error from Farida Mohammed.
Oh, she's got the nick. How many times out of 10 you reckon you'd hit that, Paul?
Out of 10, I think I'd need 100 to get one. Positive stuff from Katie Mallett. Only 2 points in this now. If you can find a way to win this point, it's a game on.
Well, it's great recovery from Malif at the front right.
What a rally. Well, she's found a way to win the point.
Well, all credit to
Back
Malif.
within one.
Yeah, it looked like she was a little out to sea in some parts of that rally, but her defensive skills came in very handy, especially that lob from the front right. Just managed to get underneath it and keep herself in the rally. And now things are getting interesting here. She's got a little bit more pressure on Mohammed. Those errors that we thought weren't going to play such a big role have now come back to haunt Mohammed.
Yeah, very interesting. She's been hanging on by a thread this last few points, but all credit to the English woman. She's got the momentum. It's a bit of an anticlimax, really. Just when we thought she was looking at sending it to a tie-break, gets a no-let.
Yeah, it is. Mohammed can breathe a sigh of relief, managing to close that one out. 11-9, a little bit closer than we thought it was going to be. She had a few game balls to play with, but she just let Malif in a little bit. So 10 minutes in duration, and it is the number 1 seed that leads Katie Malif, the 6th seed, by 1 game to love. Well, it's Mohammed that leads 1 game to love. You have to say that momentum that Malif started to build at the end of the first, she really needs to try and continue that here at the beginning and get a good start, because Farida Mohammed absolutely loves to play with confidence. She's a massive confidence player. And unfortunately, that rally is not the dream start for Malif. Find a way to get Mohammed off the tee.
Yeah, it was trading certainly for the middle part of the first game. Katie Mallett got sort of dominated by Mohammed. Started to get better rallies, saw the pressure. She managed to force a couple of errors from her opponent, but Once you got to 9-10, you started to think, okay, this is winnable now for the English woman, and losing it on a no let, she's got to try and put that out of her mind, put the scoreboard out of her mind, and just focus on what it is that she did in that period of the match that got her back into it.
Yeah, and she needs to take some confidence as well, Malif, that she can force some errors from Muhammad if she makes it uncomfortable for her.
Really equal on that cross court, both on the volley and off the bounce. She gets a great angle and puts it in some super uncomfortable areas for Katie Malif, and she's always counter attack as well. Follow up.
Muhammad does love a chat too with the ref. She really wears her heart on her sleeve.
That sort of stuff's being clamped down on now, so you've got to be able to keep your composure in the heat of the battle more than ever nowadays.
You can just see Malif looking pretty unsettled, not wanting to volley the serve, which on this court, against an attacking player like Muhammad who hits such a heavy ball, you can see that that's an outright winner to the back left. She's got to find a way to take the ball before the back. She really can't let the ball get behind her. The glass court's far too punishing for that. This is running away from Malif at the moment. She looks a little despondent, and rightly so. You can just sense that the pace that Muhammad's putting on the ball is completely taken her by surprise, and she's not found a way to negate that.
Yeah,
well, there's a perfect length.
Yeah, it's not just the pace and the trickery that we're seeing from Muhammad, changing her actual. We've seen her hit plenty of those. That also perfect length as well. Just great look. Managed to do that a few times. Get the ball really travelling low underneath the wingspan of her opponent.
Well, it seems that Muhammad needs a lesson in shoelace tying. That's the second time this game. Needs to learn a quadruple knot. You can just see that Muhammad's the one that wants to attack first, and then she's following up and she's pressing really well. You can see, like, I mean, she's behind her opponent there, and obviously she's got a 4-point lead, so there's absolutely zero fear in going for that. But it's Muhammad with the initial attack that's really setting her forward, and it means that Malif is always on the back foot. And I feel that Malif is trying to play maybe a little too safe, a little too correct. And that's better. She's taken in the straight drop and now she's been rewarded for it, but I mean, probably had a bit of room to play with that one. Fortunate, I think, to get the stroke pull.
He did, I mean, all going the way of the number 1 seed here.
Yeah, it's absolutely cruise control for Mohammed right now. Just 7 minutes for that second game. And it's the number 1 seed, Frida Mohammed, who leads by 2 games to love in our first semifinal. Well, big response needed now from Malif. She's gone down far too comfortably for her liking in this semifinal. I think a big injection of energy is needed from the lady in red. Gotta try and find a way of unsettling Mohammed, and obviously playing pace with a player like Frida Mohammed. I don't think that's the tactic, but just a bit more energy in her movement, though, I think.
Yeah, she's a gritty player, Katie Mallet. She's not going to go down without a fight. She'll leave it all out there. That's for sure. We know that she's already come from 2-love down once in this tournament against Marina Stefanoni in the first round. Slightly bigger ask though, you've got to feel. Nice though. Striking the ball out well from that forehand side, so great opportunity, or great time rather, for Katie Mallet to try to turn the screw. She felt that quick at the top of the turn. Obviously we don't have any sort of replay to see it again, but certainly doesn't want to get distracted by that. Needs to kick on because she's played a few positive rallies here to start this third game.
Yeah, I do wonder, Paul, what you were saying earlier about Malif having come back from a 2-love deficit against Stefanoni. That, and then obviously yesterday, big win against Rachel Arnold. That can take its toll mentally, can't it? And then you find yourself with another 2-love deficit against a player who's playing extremely attacking positive squash. Doesn't seem to be able to set a foot wrong at this pace. That could be a bit of an ask for someone who's potentially slightly flat coming into the semi.
Wow. Yeah, she's absolutely all over it. Farida Mohammed, just look at the body language. She really means business out there. She looks so focused and relaxed at the same time. Getting the ball early. Just about every shot that's coming off her rackets. Got a lot of intent. Really, really positive squash from Farida Mohammed. She continues to sail away through this tournament. Still a bit of work to do.
Yeah, but Mohammed's not going to change the game plan up unless Malif forces her to, is she?
Oh,
Smart.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, very clever from Malif. Just sensing that Mohammed was starting to cheat over a little bit on that backhand side, as she loves to do. Loves to hunt the volley there. Needs to keep her honest. Oh, but that's just an incredible touch from Mohammed. I have to say, for someone who's so tall, Mohammed's at least 5'9". She does move really well into the front two corners. She's got that Egyptian ability to be able to slide in and somehow do the splits and stretch out. I think that comes from growing up with slippery courts, don't you think?
Yeah. I've never heard that as an explanation for it.
That's my theory. I don't think they all start out as gymnasts. I think that they just learn to move that way from the age of 4 years old. And as we know, the Egyptian courts are pretty dusty typically, so I think they learn to use that slidey type of movement from a young age. They get comfortable with it.
Yeah, she's done well there, Katie Mallet. She'd left the ball in a dangerous spot and just clipped the side wall with that ball down the backhand side, and Mallet managed to get behind it and find a great angle. So she's still within 1 point here in the third game. That was a strange little dance that she did. Well, in theory, it should be getting a little bit tense for Farida Mohammed. Katie Mallet coming back 7-all there, but you wouldn't think so by the way she keeps attacking the front corners. Big points. Last roll of the dice really for Katie Mallet. Certainly won't put it past her to close this game out and pull one back.
Oh, I feel that's a shocker for Katie Mallet. You could see the interference, couldn't you, Paul? She was getting ready to swing, and
well, the thing for me,
was certainly in her path.
Yeah, and the thing for me there, Nicole, is by the time that ball finished roll, it hit the door. That's how far away from the side wall the ball was coming. So you can see why she feels a bit hard done by that, not getting the decision.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's Mohammed that's got 2 match balls to secure this in what's been a relatively straightforward semi-final.
Right, there again, that little cross-court fader. been something that's worked wonders for her in the match throughout.
Yeah, very professional performance from Muhammad. Didn't really set a foot wrong. Just 28 minutes, so under the half-hour mark for Frida Muhammad to dispatch Katie Malif. I feel Malif is going to be pretty disappointed with that. She can certainly play better squash, but wasn't her day today.
And obviously you've been working with Khalifa, who's here, trained from the US squash. I noticed you talking between games. What's that kind of conversation like? What are you really emphasising to kind of tune up in between those games?
Yeah, I mean, since I've trained longer, I know it was very, very calm between games, which is something that I definitely need. I'm always fired up, and when I come up, it's just 60 seconds or 90 seconds, so I need someone to just cool down. So it was very, very helpful to know how to go forward and what to do the next game.
Obviously the finals tonight, and you're the number one seed, the game that will decide who you face and who to be played, but there's Holly Norton, who's the Canadian number one, and Katie Lee from Hong Kong. Both of them had to go in, and Katie particularly upset with the two seed this week. Any thoughts on tomorrow's match?
I mean, I just hope they have a very tough one today. I haven't played Kaiji before, but I played Lee before. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough one. They already know the finals, so whoever's the next player, and I'm just looking forward to playing.
Congratulations once again, Frida Muhammad. We're just going to wind the call down. You have time to go and get a drink from the cafe if you like, and then we'll start our next match in about 5-6 minutes, and they'll be warming up for 3 or 4, so you have about 10 minutes before the next match really gets underway. Thanks.
Well, as you can see there, it was a 3-love win for Muhammad over Katie Malif. Next up, we've got Marwan El-Shabagi taking on Greg Lobban, and they'll be on in just about 8 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to semi-finals night of the Open Squash Classic. We're a 501c3 non-profit. Our mission is to make squash more accessible and affordable for everyone, regardless of income or background. With 13 courts in downtown New York, 20% of our members are on some kind of income-based discount. Your ticket purchase today has gone to fund our junior scholarship program, so we appreciate you investing in the future of squash. Our first semi-final tonight is going to be a fantastic match. Our two opponents have played each other 4 times in their careers, and the higher seed has won each time. That said, I will never underestimate a Scotsman, especially when he's playing against an Englishman. And our Scot and our Englishman, when they last played, went 65 minutes and it went 11 in the thick. So tonight is likely to be a really close match. And in particular, the lowest single player has been playing very well in the last couple of rounds. If someone had told 16-year-old Scotsman that he'd be the 16th best player in the world at some point, he would have laughed at you, he said. He won the Scottish Nationals in May, and he's beaten some great players this year, including Chris. Yesterday, he beat another Englishman 3-love in his match against Nathan Lake, so he's ready to come out swinging. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome our 4th seed from Scotland, Mr. Greg Love. His opponent tonight, almost needs no introduction, but we'll give him one. He has reached the semi-finals of the Egyptian Open this year, beating some of the best players in the game. He beat Paul Cole, Victor Kruan, and Fernando this year. Based in Bristol, he went to Millfield School and trained under Jonah Barrington. He recently said he would be a lawyer if he weren't a squash player, but he's still an extremely good squash player, and I hope he sticks at it for a long time. Would you please welcome, from England, world rank number 10, Mr. Marwan El-Shabani.
Of 2 men's semifinals here in New York at the Open Squash Classic 2024. We've got Marwan El-Shabagi, number 1 seed from England, taking on Greg Lobban, number 4 seed of Scotland. Joining me for this men's match, all the way from New Zealand, where it's morning time, is Paul Hornsby. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. Yes, it's just morning time here, 11, to keep you updated on the time down under. But yes, it's good to be tuning in for this, Danielle. I've called you Danielle again, and I keep doing this. I'm so sorry. Nicole.
You're just preparing for tomorrow when Danielle will be doing the finals with you.
I can't even blame the fact it's too early in the morning, can I? So
it's alright, I'll give you a pass.
Yeah, so this should be an absolute cracker, really. Marwan El-Shabagi is coming in as the number 1 seed. He's not had it all his own way, though, has he, on the way through to the semi-final stage. He's got the probably what you might call a red herring in the draw with Abu Elgar as his first match. Had to come back from 2-1 down in that match. You know what Abu Elgar's capable of, still coming back in terms of climbing the rankings. So good for him to get through that, and then a tough 4-setter against the Indian Abhay Singh yesterday.
Yeah, Singh has had quite the upsets in this tournament as well. So good confidence-boosting performances for the Englishman. And he's up against Greg Lobban on the left side of your screen. Nearly 10 places off his highest world ranking of 16. 32 years old. He's just had a baby, or rather his wife, Donna, has. She's actually there in person with the baby in tow. Yep, they're on a little bit of a road trip. They're off to Vancouver, off to San Francisco, and then off to Vancouver after this. So that baby's going to be very well traveled before it hits 6 months of age.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that.
Yep, had a good little chat with them the other day. So, yeah, good for Lobban to have all the family support here. It must be nice. I mean, I don't have kids, but you do, Paul. It must be nice when you're away to be able to have the family with you. You know, and obviously when you're on the road, it's tough because I'm sure you miss them and you want to be with them. So it must be nice for Lobban not to have to, worry about that when he's away competing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. And what a fun way for the little one to come into the world and see lots of different places. It's fantastic.
Well, it's the Englishman Marwan El-Shabaghi that kicks us off in his first men's semi-final here at the Open Squash Classic in New York City. Interested to get your thoughts on this one, Paul. Could be in for a bit of a long first game.
Yeah, I think Greg Lobban will be looking to prolong the rallies, really try to get some work into the legs of Marwan El-Shabaghi. We know Shabaghi's pretty lethal when he's on. Really zip that ball through in great straight lines. Got a length second to none when he's finding it. Really likes to whip in the angles as well. So Lobban will be in no hurry to finish any of these early exchanges. He's on pretty good form. He's started the season extremely well. Had a couple of great results. Beat Paul Cole, and he's looking pretty confident. He always looks pretty relaxed out there, doesn't he? In terms of his smooth movement and nice silky racket skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, he had a very good Egyptian Open. Didn't quite back it up in Paris the following week, and then in Qatar came up against Tarek Momin and lost out narrowly in the fifth. So, aside from the Paris tournament where he probably would have backed himself to come through against Mars, it's been a good start to the season for him. But it feels like Egyptian Open was quite a while ago, doesn't it? And we've already had 2 big tournaments since then. So it's really quite the heavy start to the season.
Well, it is, Nicole. I mean, I was with yourself at the World Tour Finals there at the very end of the season, and
feels like a month ago,
already,
doesn't it?
yeah, exactly. Already, the guy was talking about the Egyptian Open, the first diamond event coming around thick and fast. And like you say, it's been non-stop since, and it's showing no signs of slowing down on the calendar.
No, and I have to say, I do wonder how that's going to play into the results that we see, with especially with the top players, you know, who are playing all these big events, right? You have to play them if you're a top 8 seed, but you're not going to, the way that the tournaments are now, you're going to play all the platinums. They're coming thick and fast, and I do wonder if we're going to see some injuries and even some upset results as well. You know, if you're like Shibagi here, he's playing this, which is a bronze, a smaller tournament by his standards, but then also he'll be playing the US Open this next week. So it's quite heavy, and that's going to take its toll on the body, especially as some of these players are, you know, 30 years and above.
Yes, you're right, and you know, right the way through to the end of the year, the sort of mini break at Christmas, goes right the way up to that with the World Team Championships immediately after the Hong Kong Open as well. So that runs right up until the 16th of December. So it will be interesting to see what shape the players are in by the time that event comes around. That's men's and women's as well for the first time ever.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That should be fun. Bit of a change.
Comes onto that volley nice and sharply there, Marwan Al-Shibagi. That's going to be a stroke, unfortunately. Just snatched at that one, I feel, Greg Lobban. Two wayward volleys, one on each side. Not really under a huge amount of pressure on those shots either. The ball was loose, but it's just put the ball back into the path. A couple of unforced errors from the Scotsman. We'll need to tidy that up.
Yeah, good rally.
Really good.
Terrific exchange from both players. Each of them had their turn being the dominant player in that rally, and Lobban doing really well with the short work to close that out. That's a terrific
brilliant.
lob.
Fantastic little lift there from Scotsman. Just got it over, out of the reach of Marwan Al-Shibagi, and the ball just died in the back corner to perfection. Just, actually put together some really nice squash here, Greg Lobban, after a couple of wayward ones on those volleys. Steadied the ship. A couple of really nice proactive rallies together. Oh.
What's your take on that one, Paul?
Well, I mean, Greg Lobbin's saying he's gone the wrong way there, but for me, I mean, we're not going to see a replay, are we? But I thought Shibagi read it like a book, to be honest. I expected that to be a stroke, if I'm honest. Nicole, what about yourself?
Oh, the ref.
Well, the referee's saying we're not allowed to
stern
have a
tone.
conversation, but I think myself and you are allowed to have a conversation, Nicole.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not
What
going
were
to
your
listen to the
thoughts?
ref. Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a tricky one. It's kind of tough to see from this angle as well. It depends about how short the ball saved. It came right into the middle, right? And if the path is through your opponent and Shibagi's as streetwise as they come, if he's read that early, then,
Yeah.
which he tends to do, then I think it's going to be a stroke. Now it's getting to a tense point in the match. 5-all. Both players going to try and look to pull away here.
The referee's trying to keep this match under control. Love that little cross-court flick though from Shibagi. Loved it.
Yeah, it was very cool, wasn't it? Marwan just trying to be a little too cute with the volley boast.
Oh my word! That was
You
an
wish we had
absolute
replays.
ripper.
You see that one?
That looked to me as if it was, well, certainly the shot of the day so far. I'd be impressed if there's been a better shot than that in this tournament, to be honest. How did he manage to find the nick from there? Yeah, just a little bit too delicate in that front forehand corner.
Yeah, the too casual. Showing that as well. Shibagi was right on the shoulder.
Yes, good squeeze from Shibagi, just at the right time as well. The business end of this first game. Both players will be keen to get this one in the bank. Not really been much in it at all on the scoreboard. 1 point for point for the most part.
Yeah, it's better work here now from Lobbin. He's not opening up the court quite as much, keeping it straighter.
Oh, looked like he second guessed himself there. Just had too many options at his mercy.
I do feel that Lobbin needs to be careful with these cross courts coming through the middle. If there's anyone that's good at a shutout, it's Marwan El Shibagi.
Well, I don't know what your thoughts were on that one, Nicole, but it looked like he had a lot of space. Don't know if it's this camera angle.
My initial
Or whether,
reaction was actually a stroke. I thought that
Was it?
it was one of those where it's cheeky to wait, but you can do it. You know, it's unfortunate when it happens to you, but yeah, it wasn't a particularly good shot, as the ref sternly pointed out. He certainly brought his authoritative voice, hasn't he, the ref? But he needs to be on his mettle because both of these players, especially Marwan El-Shorbagy, is not giving him.
This is your conduct warning for dissent. You are questioning every single decision now.
Well, there it is. We mentioned this earlier on. In recent events, we've seen a real clampdown on the chat with the referee. Cannot be doing it every single point. Marwan El-Shorbagy, unfortunately, just approached that line and has been given a conduct warning. He's going to have to be careful now.
So, Roman, traffic doesn't mean that he's blocking you or anything. I said yes, left. On the left, 9.
I mean, the amount of pictures we could get with Marwan El-Shorbagy with that particular pose and look on his face. He's gonna have more shots like that than he does of him hitting the ball.
It's part of the game. No, you lost that benefit. Yeah, but I'm the one who had to
The referee just say you've lost that benefit. Let's speak to him. Good enough from him.
It's a privilege, not a right.
Yeah.
I mean, that was wise of Shorbagy to ask if he could, because if he tried to make his case again, that certainly would have gone, almost certainly would have gone to a conduct stroke, and he would have been down 10-8, so.
Yeah, it would have been the worst possible time for that to happen. Especially after he's had his nose in front for the most part of this first game. Not by a long way, but it would be a bit of a steal if Loban can find a way.
I didn't like that movement there. Not to allow that. We're going to play 11 because of that movement. It's a conduct warning for unnecessary physical contact.
Well, that's an interesting one, Paul, because I thought that that was a pretty poor shot from Marwan El-Shorbagy, and that Loban was kind of entitled to just take a bit of space and hit that down the line, but the ref felt that there was an unnecessary movement, which obviously he'll have a very clear view of that being not too far away from the court. But tensions are really rising now, rightly so at this stage, 9-all in the first.
Certainly being kept busy, the referee. We've had a bit of everything here, both players on conduct warnings now. I think he's doing a good job so far, the referee, of keeping a lid on things.
That's a bit of a movement for Marwan there. Since any time that Loban's leaving the ball a little bit loose, he's not wanting Loban to get through. You can just see it there, a little bit of a hip check. Just knocks your opponent off balance ever so slightly. Well, it's all happening here, Paul.
Cheers.
10-9, game over. That
Well, it's not the most viewer friendly.
No, it's a little too much chit chat with the ref. Both players have earned themselves a conduct warning for movement. And the Shibagi just got himself in front with that first crucial game ball. Just to clarify to the viewers that the ref was pointing out that there were several movements in that previous rally that he didn't agree with, but the final one was not deemed an issue, hence the no let. So, oh, that's gone square into the tin from Shibagi. Sold Lobin, straight drop. Called him the
We
taxi.
did the raw from Greg Lobin there. He's fired up.
Shibagi looks back furiously at Lobin. Just felt he'd shut him out a little bit on that backhand side, but fortunately squeezed the air from Lobin, and that earns Shibagi a second game ball to close out this first. Good line from Lobin. And he squeezed the air from Shibagi. Really swift movement from Lobin, able to adapt with the down the middle cross court from Marwan. He breathes yet more life into this first game.
Yeah, it's difficult one to call this, obviously. Locked in at 11 all.
Paul, regardless of who wins this first game, given the duration is increasing, who do you think that the physicality is going to favor going into the rest of the match?
Well, I think potentially Greg Lobin, really. He's had far less time on court. Really came through 2 straight games yesterday against Nathan Lake, and was tested in the first round by the young Yahya El Nawatani, but I think he'll have a bit more juice in the tank. And I think if he can pinch this first game, it'll really give him that confidence boost and physical boost that he could use as a bit of a springboard going into the rest of the match. But by the same token, I feel if El Shibagi can sneak it, it could just carry that momentum forward. He did lead for the majority of this first game. Not by much, of course. Always found the top of the 10. Nice fading boast from the Scotsman. Shibagi was there.
Yeah, Lobin's been teasing Shibagi with that soft boast, particularly to the front left corner. Shibagi just getting a little too close to it. unforced error by his standards. But that's a good squeeze from Shibagi. What a response. After a pretty long and testing rally, he's tied that up, showing exactly why he's been number 3 in the world. As you said in the intro, Paul, perhaps Shibagi's best quality as a squash player is his straight line hitting, technically.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, fantastic. Use of the body language there. Suggesting that he was going to send it cross court and just rolls the racket face over and sends it straight as an arrow down that right wall. He's already saved a couple game balls, and he managed to sneak this first game, number 1 seed. Certainly been a bit of a monster, and it goes on.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of really, really long matches. I think just last night, actually, we're gonna see Miguel Rodriguez later this evening, but he had a 73-minute 3-gamer against the up-and-coming Zachariah. Have you ever heard of 3 games going 73 minutes?
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
We'll talk a bit more about that one later, but certainly lots to look forward to. But Lobin has got yet another game ball, and he closes us out. Big error from Shibagi. Just slightly overstretching for that forehand kill, finding the top of the tin. Can't wait to see the duration here. So 25 minutes for a monster of a first game between Marwan El-Shibagi and Greg Lobin, and it is the number 4 seed who leads by 1 game to love. See what sort of response is going to come from Shibagi, having lost that first game by such a narrow margin. A couple of weak errors from him at the backhand, particularly that backhand drop from the front left.
Yeah, there's that one, and also the game ball itself, fairly straightforward forehand volley, and Shibagi finding the top of the tin. good news about the back end of that game is it seems to settle down in terms of congestion on the court and engagement with the referee.
Yeah, it did. Oh, that was good. Yeah, giving out those conduct warnings did just help things settle down a little bit.
Yeah, I think the referee did a great job of keeping things under control. Good, early goals. Oh, that's a clever shot there from Marwan El-Shabaghi. Love that, how aggressively approached the ball. Ball into that front section of the side wall. Stone dead. Okay, that's what we've been looking for.
Yeah, it's a dream start from the higher seed.
5-1.
Too testing physically either. Oh, it's a bit wild from Lobin. It's clever, very clever.
Yeah, seeing these angles really clearly. Marwan El-Shabaghi earlier on about straight line to the ball down, effectively side ball. Safe boats. Triple boats tried earlier.
Yeah, he's rolled it.
In the boats well. Completely different type of boats there. Three-wall boats as we call it. Just got the angle perfect. Nothing there for El-Shabaghi to get his racket onto. Much needed point. Great luck.
Oh, it's a perfect way to shot the spot. Just choosing to slow the tempo down a little bit in that rally. Two lobs, got himself in front with plenty of time. And a slight hold, but that's a massive taxi. Didn't see that one at all. Such a difficult shot to see on this court, isn't it? If you take your eye off the ball ever so slightly, you just have a little bit less contrast with the glass and the white ball.
Sprayed that one out from the side wall. It's been one-sided the second game. What a great response from Marwan El-Shabaghi. Dominant fade to the match so far. Took all the way in the first, but he's just ran away with this. Very contrasted game.
Yeah, the ball will have softened up quite a bit throughout that first game, and it's Shabaghi that's come out and dealt with that better. And Greg Lobin now is picking up the ghost. 7 game balls for Shibagi to close out this first game. And there it is.
Taken by how that unfolded, Greg Lobin, but slick from Marwan El Shibagi. Lots of variation of height, pace, angle. Good.
Well, just 7 minutes, so quite a bit shorter than the first game. We were wondering who that was going to favor. And it's the number 1 seed who's recovered the better of the two. And he's come away and tying up this match 1 game apiece. Second game was so quick that both players are back on court with plenty of time to warm this ball up. And Marwan El Shibagi really has no interest in getting this ball hot, but you can see that Lobin really wants to. He wants to inject some more life into it. This just does give you the sense that Shibagi wants a cold ball. Going to look to step up the court here. I think Shibagi is going to be the first one to attack. Not interested in long, drawn-out rallies.
Yeah, he's got the momentum, and he absolutely steamrolled his way through that second game, and he's got the bit between his teeth, and he will not want to do any inroads. Greg Lobin found a way back in.
As the ball continues to soften up, Paul, who do you think that that's going to favor?
100% Shibagi, 100%. I mean, the way that he's sort of rolling the ball around, the angles, and I think he just feel like he's using more of the court than his opponent. And oh, look at that! It's a flat roller there from Shibagi. Yeah, it's definitely going to favour his style of playing, especially the confidence he's playing with as well in this last game or so. Of course, Robin can choose to get a new ball after this game, which I'm fairly confident he'll go for.
You could just hear the baby in the background. Probably Greg Lobin's child, actually.
It could be.
Just cheering him on in the rally. It's a terrific line from Shibagi. Making the court so big for the Scot.
Oh, that is a phenomenal recovery there from El Shibagi. Backhand drive from Lobbin just not quite getting the length, but Shibagi just hooked his racket around the ball and glued it to the sidewall. Again, that's another beautiful line down the left side. Lobbin's onto it that time though.
Yeah, the ball really starting to soften up now. Those boasts were coming back from Lobbin in the first game. Now that ball is just a little bit more dead. I feel that, I agree with you, Paul, that Shibagi's shots are just going to have a little bit more bite to them, and he's going to be able to kill the ball a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just peppering the front of the court now, following up, looking for the counter-attack. Quite the fortunate bounce for Lobbin back there, much needed. But you can see with that 3-4 point lead now, Shibagi's just eager to take the ball in, look for the follow-up. Being very confident, pressing across the short line.
All right, he's gone for the little boast himself. No avail. On the top of the 10, looking a little bit disillusioned. It's another point. Goes away with the Englishman. Well, the resistance looks to fade slightly from Greg Lobbin. Do you think we'll see him ask for a new ball then, Nicole?
Yeah, I do think so. Partly for the liveliness of the new ball, but also just have a couple minutes to warm it up and have a bit more of a reset.
Yeah,
sometimes you feel that the 2 minutes between games goes by in a flash, and you can have just a couple more minutes to reset. Hopefully try and knock some of the wind out of Shibagi's sails.
Shibagi just having a word with himself there to refocus. It's a bit of a wild one.
Yeah, he's got a few game balls to play with, but he won't want to give this away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it's been pretty quick for these last couple points, and if Greg Lobbin can get this one, get to 8, that'll start to put a bit more pressure on Shibagi, and you can see that Lobbin start to try a little bit more, and there it is.
Wow.
Now
Things are starting to look quite different. Just a minute or so ago, it looked like Lobbin had all eyes on the 4th game. Desperate to close this out now.
Robin. As he straightens that in the front left. I mean, Paul, just 2 minutes ago, Robin was basically 1 foot out the door. He'd given up the ghost.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's never
How things
over
can
till
change.
it's over.
Yeah. Well, look at the relief there. Malno Sabagi cannot get out the door quick enough, and as predicted, Greg Lobban requests a new ball for the start of the 4th game.
Yeah, slightly too casual perhaps for Marwan El Shabagi towards the end of that. 9 minutes in duration and 11-9 in that 3rd game. And it is the higher seed, Marwan El Shabagi, who leads Greg Lobban by 2 games to 1.
They will resume in 60 seconds.
Well, it's 2 games to 1 for Mohammed. Sorry, for Marwan El Shabagi. But Lobban requested a new ball. It's bound to happen. But you can see already from the get-go, despite that fight back from Lobban, the difference in body language between these two. Just after that first point, Lobban looked a little, ever so dejected, or sorry, slightly dejected. Marwan El Shabagi looking to press. A little bit of a scare at the end of that 3rd game.
Like the whole match. In and out, up and down, up and derby, whatever other phrase you want to use. As it, the first was a brutal encounter which was nip and tuck all the way. Shabagi ran away with the 2nd game, and then the 3rd, it was all Shabagi. whether it's complacency or whether he took his eye off the ball or what. Ended up close for comfort at the end of that third game. But it's good to have a couple of minutes there just to sort of refocus. Okay, went right for this fourth game and try and wrestle back that. We saw in the second, most part of the third. Wonderful shot and a 4 inside wall from the number 1 seed. Straight line hitting. Oh, no, baggy. One down inside. Down goal.
Are you okay? Yes, ma'am. No, I thought it was just an accident, I know. It's your right to the left, 5-2.
Well, we do have the bounce here ball, but I feel like with this 2-1 lead that Marwan El Shabagi has, it's not put him off his game too much. And if anything, he's using the pace of the ball to actually inject more pace and more intent into his game. You can see he's a little bit more. He's moving off the ball a little bit more quickly, and he's actually using that, kind of like what we saw with Farida Muhammad, actually, in the previous match. He's taking the ball on the rise, at the top of the bounce, as often as he can.
Well, the last 2 points that's gone the way of Marwan Shabagi. It's straight drive. Straight drive winner at this level. We've just seen 3 in a row, so it just shows the accuracy.
Oh, there it is again, Paul, right on cue. I mean, he made that look quite easy, but that was not. That was kind of a half volley top spin down the line.
Running away from Greg Lobban, unfortunately. This is very slick squash from Marwan El Shabagi.
Yeah, he's found his weight of shot now. Putting a very heavy ball into the back 2 corners. As Lobban constantly reaching behind himself. Just trading court sprints. They went for it.
Getting that one. Yeah, good down. Fantastic on the boat. Good point to catch the boat. Off there. Memories of that third game in his head where he had complete and utter control, and then that. They want to happen here. They want to get the job done. That's the final. Finishing lines in sight now for Shabagi.
Shibaggi's looking a lot more settled now. Worked through that rough patch in the first game. Aside from that counter drop, Shibaggi's really started to find his range and his accuracy now. Actually looks to be moving better as well. But that might be because of the injection of pace with the new ball.
From 11.
6-9.
Close there.
That's a nice combination from Robin. Powerful straight line down the backhand, followed up nicely for the backhand nick. Oh, how he's got that back?
Yeah, throw it down.
Both of you. I saw you not up.
Robin's absolutely devastated.
When we return a serve from Shibaggi there, the referee called that double bounce.
I mean, initially from here it looked like quite a severe attack from Shibaggi. But understandably quite frustrated because that's a crucial call. And now that gives Mauro Shibaggi 3 match balls, and he's done it. First attempt.
There's more practice during that match of Mauro Shibaggi at his finest with his straight lines and using those angles. Go away, would he?
The first game was 24 minutes.
Yeah, after quite a testing first game, 25 minutes in duration, it's Marwan El Shibaggi that prevails. 3 games to 1, 14-16, 11-3, 11-9, 11-7, and he moves on to the finals tomorrow night here in New York.
It's normal. I guess the first game the ball was bouncy. There was more rhythm to the point. The points were long, and which is normal in the first game. And I get why Greg changed the ball after the third because he wanted the ball to be lively again. I didn't think it was going to matter that much on that court in these conditions. But yeah, I mean it's a dead court. If you take a good shot, it's going to go there. So I was just trying to focus on getting a good shot and make it as accurate, as tight as possible. And by time, I was hoping that I could control the game. But it's always tricky, especially when you lose the first against someone like Greg and he doesn't care. He just wants to win every match. And it's always tough to play with someone who wants to win every match. And you get sometimes you play against players that are just satisfied with reaching semis and quarters or don't, and then but Greg doesn't care, and I know that, and that's I hate playing him. Well, I hate playing him there. That's always hungry to win, I guess. But yeah, I'm happy to win, and it was a good match. Was aggressive and tough, and it's how it should be.
There were some moments there that were quite entertaining for the crowd. Sort of, I think you kind of tripped on this one there, and look, and then you look at the section with the referee, which might be too much detail. Is it? Are you aware sometimes like you might come across as a little intimidating, or sometimes a little funny, or sometimes a little you're not sure? Is it calculated, or sometimes it just comes out of you and you're not sure what's happening? That kind of theatrical aspect of the game.
Just be yourself. That's what I've learned over the years. People are always. It's easy to sit on the couch and judge and criticize people, and successful players. It's easy to do that. So at the end of the day, you try to be a better player, a better person. You make mistakes. It's part of life, and you try to learn from them. Especially you're always being put in
you know, we don't expect you to be anything other than yourself, Marwan. We love you just the way you are. I think that's fair, right? Yes. One last question. Tomorrow night is the final. So far the match is yet to be played, but it will be between Miguel Rodriguez and Victor Curran. I noticed that Victor Curran had been tagging me on Instagram lately and saying you can have that one, but I like this one. So I'm just curious, kind of the next nights ahead tomorrow. Are you looking forward to that match, or are you going to be kind of a little anxious? What's your sense of prep for tomorrow night?
I mean, yeah, I played Victor a month ago and in Egypt and all those stuff. You know, he sent me the wrong way most of the stuff, which I always know is coming, but yeah, he sent me the wrong way. And I almost actually did something to my Achilles. So, I mean, Victor, Miguel, you know, he's a very experienced player, and I wish them all the best. I wish they play over 2 hours. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be an entertaining match for sure. I mean, both are incredible athletes and different kinds of style of play. Miguel had a great match yesterday. Victor hasn't broken in yet. But so yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Marwan El-Shabaab. Our talking was in effect, and we'll just get that done, and the next match will commence in about 10 minutes' time. So you do have time to get a drink for the high faith more. Thanks, folks. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Open Squash Classic semi-finals evening. We're a 501c3 non-profit, and we're on a mission to make squash affordable and accessible for everyone. We have 13 courts down here in New York City. 20% of our members are on some kind of income-based discount, so you're supporting our community by being here tonight. In particular, all proceeds from the Open Squash Classic go to fund our junior scholarship program, so thank you for investing in the next generation of squash. We have a fantastic women's semi-final to see who is going to go through and face Farida Mohammed in tomorrow's final. Our next two players have met twice on the PSA Tour. 6 years ago, when they both won a match apiece. Both joined the PSA in 2013, and between them they've played more than a combined 500 squash matches in their careers on the professional tour. Last night, our lower seeded player upset the number 2 seed, Nada Abbas, to reach this round with a stunning upset. And our other player also had a fantastic match to reach our semi, so I do expect this to be hotly contested. First up, our first player hails from Hong Kong, where she is in fact the Hong Kong squash champion. She is an Asian Games medalist and world rank 42. Would you please welcome Ka Yi Lee. Our next player counts for world number 1, James Waterford, amongst her coaches. She's a 5-time Canadian national champion, Canadian number 1 and a Commonwealth silver medalist. Would you please welcome world rank number 19, Holly Norton.
Welcome back, folks, to the second instalment of the semi-finals here in the Open Squash Classic, which is a bronze event right in the heart of New York City, in the financial district. We know that a number 1 seed is safely through to the final tomorrow. Farida Mohammed counting for Katie Malik in straight games, and Marwan El-Shabaghi coming through a counter really against Scotland's Greg Lobban. They've got the job done, so this second session of time here and now will decide who will be facing the number 1 seed. And first up, it's the women's semi-final between Canada's Holly Norton and Ka Yi Lee from Hong Kong. Joins me for last 2 matches of the evening. Actually in New York.
Yeah, a bit funny. I guess I could be there doing this in person. But I'm watching a lot of the squash this week. It's a good crowd that they'll have in. Kind of a different setup with Open Squash 5. If any of you were listening to that mini intro, it's not a private club like so many of the institutions there. So a bit of a different mission. But now to introduce the players.
Yeah. Holly Norton. Right side of the court there in the all black. Number 3 seed, bags of experience under her belt. She's been as high as number 16 in the world. Came through a bit of a seesaw battle yesterday against Mariam Mafwali. 11th, 5th, so really to get through that battle. Lee, been a bit of a giant killer really in this tournament, unseeded in the event, ranked down at world number 48. She came through Craig of Ireland, but then took out number 7 seed Nadine Shahin, and yesterday the number 2 seed Nada Abbas, both Egyptian players. So she'll be brimming with confidence. Can she do it one more time against the number 3 seed? That's the big question, Nicole.
Yeah, I mean, Kai's been on terrific form. She does have her work cut out for her, but if she plays how she did yesterday against Abbas in particular, I don't see any reason why she can't do some damage against Naughton. Naughton as well, you know, she had a bit of a tough run out yesterday. Didn't look entirely settled against Mitwali. I wouldn't say that that was Naughton's best squash, but she found a way through. So I think the question is, can she raise the level, which I certainly think she can, and how is that going to match up against current form of Kai? Can she keep it going?
She's got a huge amount of experience under her belt. The left-hander, based in Pontefract, trains with James Wallstrop. Really very finest, in my experience, is when she gets across the short line and can pick up those volleys, the drops. And, she can be absolutely lethal. Kai Lee, on the other hand, I've not seen a huge amount of her recent matches, but I know she can be a very structured player, keep the ball nice and straight, and that might be just what he needs to do today against the shot maker.
They will start in 30 seconds. Start in 15 seconds. Open Squash Classic 2024 women's semifinal match. Calling on Canada to serve, Kai Lee of Hong Kong, China to receive. Best of 5 games. Love all.
The Holiday free seed from Canada gets this semi-final underway. Reasonable amount of time on this court. Would you say this would favour either player in this situation?
Yeah, I think that it's going to favor Kai, I have to say. I think her attacks, which we've already seen from the get-go, are absolutely lethal on this court. And look at that, she's not wasting any time taking the ball into the front. She does that against everyone that she plays. She did it particularly well against Abbas yesterday. And I do think she's going to look to expose Naughton's movement, especially just with that straight drop. We've seen it with the volley drop so far, but she also has a fantastic backhand drop from deeper in the court. And yeah, I think that we're going to see a lot of that from the get-go with Kai, and you can see the body language. She's very up to this.
Hand out 1-3.
Anyway, one rally so far. Already 4 points on the scoreboard in a matter of seconds, really.
Hand out 4-1.
To me, it also looks like Kai's improved her movement a lot recently as well. She was picking up loads of balls yesterday, and so her alongside those attacks, she was able to cover the follow-up. She wasn't making as many errors, although she's just hit one there. That's bound to happen. But she was able to take that ball in and then really hunt for the follow-up and then crunch it to the back. I just think she got the balance of attacking and lifting and defending really, really well yesterday against Nada Basu. To be fair, she's been on fine form recently. Reached her first semi-final, a platinum semi-final at the Egyptian Open. No, not even a platinum. That was a diamond. Got to get my terminology right.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And final, so probably a good signal to the confidence that's mine. Very happy to take the ball in all corners of the court.
With your initial movement was to hurry, you got to come back to the ball. The ball was way at the back. Right box, 6-3.
As with most glass courts, Paul, I do feel that it's going to favor the more attacking player. We've seen that with Frida Mohammed in the first match today. She was the first one to initiate. We saw that with Marwan El-Shabagi when he was playing and dominating, and now we're seeing it as well with Kai here. It's just so severe, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. And that cross-court fade in play. We saw a lot of that. Ball dropped into the sidewall. Uncertainty and discomfort in the movement of your opponent. As soon as you manage to get somebody feeling like that on the squash court, it's not a good place to be. Good response here from Holly Norton. Opponent, a couple of points. Again, rally from the third court.
Wow, that's lethal.
Right, kind of stunned the ball in there, didn't she? Stopped the racket on the ball. Chipped it in. Possible three. Looking at the air. I can't follow it up. A few of those ones.
I mean,
Corner, she can't
absolutely
miss in there,
fearless.
can she?
9-6.
Oh, she's completely taken away Naughton's volley.
She, Holly Norton. Hold. Stop the movement of the opponent. Top the swing. Norton.
8-9.
Yeah, that's better from Naughton. Earlier in the game, she was taking that one in short and allowed Kai to run onto it, but just lengthening out the court there. Slight pause in the swing, as you just said, Paul. Nice fading length. Not as much risk associated with that shot.
I know. Norton. That's 4 unanswered points. She's completely flipped this first game on its head. Gets the first point early. Holly Norton closed that first game out. I mean, I've got to say, I did not see that coming.
No, she was behind the scoreboard for the entire game, and then at the end, just showing her experience. And it's Holly Naughton that comes back from a several-point deficit. It's kind of being outplayed for the majority of that game, but like I said, showed her experience and managed to take the first 11-9 in 8 minutes.
Play will resume in 60 seconds. One game to love. Love all.
Real comeback, wasn't it, for Holly Norton in that first game? Got 5 points unanswered. First couple of points now. We've seen Kai Lee clip the top of the tin with that backhand volley drop. She'll be able to miss with that for the most part.
Yeah, I think that from Kai's perspective, she doesn't need to change too much tactically from the first game. She came out of the blocks absolutely firing. And then, as you said, a couple of errors, and to be fair, Naughton actually raised her game, which she needed to. Oh, that's a fantastic finish. Just rolling that one right around the neck. She did that to Abbas actually the other day as well.
That corner. 3-2. Long range drop there from Kai.
Yeah, that's where Naughton needs to be careful. Just what we saw at the back end of the first was when got that position in the middle, she was holding and sending Kai back just to create a bit more distance. But she's a shorter stature, but she's super quick with her footwork, and she's able to get under those drops really quickly and has a really good counter. So Naughton needs to be careful with how much time she gives the Hong Kong player at the front.
That forehand volley, anything straight would have been a winner really from Holly Norton.
Yeah, purple patch.
Yeah.
6-3.
Taking that forward. For short. Forehand from corner this time. Or I should say right.
Corner.
Oh, Naughton. Just questioning that pickup, thinking it was a bit of a scoop. I mean, she's going to keep going for that all day long, isn't she? Kai absolutely backs herself with the backhand drop, whether it's on the volley or if it's on the bounce. But for me, that's the key area that Naughton's got to expose. She's got to get the ball really behind the Hong Kong player.
She's threatening to turn this second game around, Holly Norton.
Every time she gets
Stone dead.
Yeah, Kai is responding really well, time and time again. But again,
White makes front wall that time.
it's that back left corner. When Naughton can get that weight of shot right, then Kai's forced to flick it out. But of course the danger is when she's overhit it, then Kai's going for the backhand drop. I mean, wow, that was an absolute flat roller. Crucial two-point
Not the
lead.
first time, is it? That Holly Norton's
got the point back and then
return of serve. Don't fold.
lead this time.
10-7. This rallied. Got volley drops. Come back.
Yeah, that's well played by Naughton.
So it's another game ball saved. Back within one now.
She read that pattern well, forced Kai to cross over to her backhand, which you have to say, the ball, oh, that's lovely from Kai. Managing to weather the storm, weather the comeback from Naughton, who looked to be mounting comeback like she did in the first. It just held her off enough.
Kept the composure that time.
Kai Lee gets it across the line. It's another 8-minute game. Very short rallies, but she responds with an 11-9 win in
That second game.
after 18 minutes. We're locked in at one game all.
two very tightly contested games. We are tied here at 1-1. That's a fantastic hold from Kai, all set up with the good serve that forced Naughton to boast from the back left. Hong Kong player has a wealth of attacking options at her disposal. And I do feel that as this ball starts to soften up, she's going to start to make this court even bigger for the Canadian if the Canadian cannot find a way to get in front and take that T-zone away from Lee Kai. Oh, and right on cue, absolutely flying to a 4-love start here. Absolutely ferocious attacks, looking for the follow-up as well. Naughton just needs a little reset. Find a way to get in front. Take that middle zone away from Kai. Yeah, it's important though. It's a big rally, much needed for Naughton. She dug deep, was willing to get a little gritty in there. Well, it was certainly not the dream start for the Canadian, but as seems to be the trend in this match, she's finding a way to claw her way back.
Very nice.
Beautiful drive down that right side wall, cruised onto the forehand drop, and then just snapped it across the courts. To get a little bit of a
Yeah, this is much more positive play now. I mean, how that's come off, I don't know. Bit of fortune for Lee Kai. But you can see the injection of pace that Naughton's trying to bring now, trying to take time away from Kai so she's not quite so comfortable. And that's it, right on cue.
Point accuracy. That deep left corner from Holly Norton. She pops the scoreboard up.
one game all, 6-all.
Out at this point.
Yeah, credit to Naughton. She's showing her experience here. She's She's made the adjustments necessary after going down 5-love. Oh, that was close. Phenomenal length from Kai though. What a response.
And out 7-all. Guess left.
Yeah, it was a dicey one, that really. Not a full stretch. Falling very short, but it was a mile away from the side wall. Clean to hit. Just relax.
I always hold my breath on those decisions now. You never know what you're going to get.
Nothing wrong with that. It's straight fine. Drop shot from Kai Lee. Straight as an arrow. Nice and short as well. Corner combination. Kai Lee's put together a couple of great points here. Scoreboard, daylight now. Yeah.
Certainly has. And anything that's slightly short, Naughton really needs to push up and expect that drop shot to come in. Because Kai's not going to shy away from it, especially now with that 2-point lead at the business end.
A little bit of frustration there from Ollie Norton. When you send the ball cross court and before you even turn and look at it, your opponent's already volleyed it away from you. It's a 3-game balls now. Lee, I mean, she's playing with such freedom and confidence, and she's cruised in that 3rd game. It's like it'll be a real ding-dong affair, but she's just carved her way through that game with some beautiful touch. Opponent again. It's another 8-minute game. This time goes away of Kai Lee. Honestly, player strong out there. She leads by 2 games to 1. story of the previous men's match, there's been a request for a new ball after the third game. I suspect that would have been Holly Norton, because her opponent was really taking that ball into all four corners of the court, making the place huge. What a position Kylie put herself in here, Nicole. She's already taken out the number 7 and number 2 seed. She's now 2-1 up. And the number 3 seed.
Yeah, it's a fantastic position for Kai to be in, but I certainly would not write off Naughton just yet, especially with this new ball. It's going to breathe some more life into it. She's going to be able to retrieve more of Kai's attacks. And I've also seen Holly come back from more than a few, 5 deficits before and come through to win in 5. So she's very good at digging deep, gritting her teeth, and she's not going to go down without a fight, that's for sure.
Corner. Cross court at the last second, stops the racket on the ball and dinks it in. Absolutely no weight on the ball.
Oh, bit scrappy. Got away with it though.
We could read the ball from Norton. Unfortunately, she couldn't do anything meaningful with it and popped it straight through the middle.
Yeah, that's phenomenal from Kai. Something I was going to say, but I didn't want to give away the story too early on, was that Kai's phenomenal with her straight attacks, but then she has this really good awareness with the flick. She can do it on both sides. I think more often than not we see it coming from her backhand side with a quick cross-court flick, but now that she's been selling the straight option, it's going to make the court even bigger for Naughton if Kai can start to use the cross-court flick. Very smart. She hasn't really pulled that out yet in this match, so this is the time to start to sell it.
Ambitious that time, Kylie. Never really looked that comfortable on the ball there, did she?
No, not really the one. I think the biggest thing for Kai right now is to make sure she doesn't give away 2 to 3 points too easily right now. Like if she is going to go down in the scoreboard, she needs to try and make it tough for Naughton, because Naughton otherwise is just going to run away and she's going to capitalize. But I mean, that's a phenomenal, that's a terrific response from the Hong Kong player. But again, opting for the straight option, probably a bit better than the ambitious cross-court flick we saw from the back left.
stroke. Kai Lee. Mini lead. Middle stage, fourth game. Hold the nerve. That he can fire in. Serve from the rally. The player missed that much really. Looks like she's showing no signs of getting too excited about the prospect of the final here. Very cool, calm and collected. She finds the top of the tin for an absolute sitter. Golden opportunity, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
3
she's
points.
not gonna go away from it. The attacking game and the short game has just served her far too well, hasn't it? Not just in this match, but in this entire tournament.
Yeah, she's fearless. Been a fearless for so far. I mean, to be fair, once you've taken out the number 2 seed, why wouldn't you back yourself to go all the way through to the final? Looks as if it's a real prospect for her here because it's clear. Soon rattle off some quick points herself. Got that one all in all turn. So there's the lead. Just 2 points away from the final now.
What an opportunity for the Hong Kong player. I mean, these are big points up for grabs, Paul. For someone who's ranked in the mid-40s, getting to the final of a bronze tournament, this is a big ranking opportunity here for Kai Yi, and she's got herself 4 match balls to reach this bronze semi-final.
Felt that full clip 10, but referee saw it good, so that's 1 match ball save from Holly Norton, still faces 3.
There it is.
Good. That's the 5th pump from Kai Lee, and she's taken down another top seed here in New York. Through final to take on number 1 seed Farida Mohammed. That was very impressive to come back from 1 love down against Holly Norton, and she moves on 38 minutes. Takes that match 11-9, 9-11, 9-11, 11-9, 11-7, 11-7.
And if you have, how come more of us don't know who you are? It's amazing.
Final match tomorrow against Farida Mohammed.
I know yesterday we didn't want to give too much away about the tactics. And you were just thrilled to get through that match against number 2 seed, no Abbas. Now you're in the final tomorrow. And obviously it's going to be now facing Farida Mohammed. Do you have any thoughts on the match again? Something else, just looking at your ranking. You have been on the tour since 2013, which is like a long time. And I'm not sure how to put this, but you look young. We were very surprised at your you're not old, let's not say that. But, we were surprised by your level of experience. Is there anything that comes out there, you're down in the first game, is there anything about your experience that told you, I can do this, I can win this game, I can win this game?
blue.
So we're going to clean the court and then we've got our last
In a post-match interview there, as we can see, she's taken out now the number 3 seed, Holly North. 4 games, which leaves just one match coming up. Colombian Cannonball Miguel Rodriguez, the number 3 seed, taking on the Frenchman Victor Kwan, the number 2 seed. They'll be on court in a few moments, so join the whole goal there.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the semi-finals night of the Open Squash Classic. We're a 501c3 non-profit trying to make squash accessible and affordable to everyone, regardless of income or background. We have 13 courts here in downtown New York. 20% of our members are on some kind of income-based discount. Your ticket price today entirely went towards our junior scholarship fund, so we thank you for pushing forward the future of squash. We have our last semi-final match of the evening is going to be a delight. I expect it may go fairly long. Our next two players here have played each other twice. Both times were last year, and each player won one of the matches 3-1. One is ranked 12 in the world, the other is 16, but flip it the other way, and one player has been as high as 4th in the world, the other as high as 7th. The first time they played together in the Canadian Open, I watched that match live. It was in the 4th round, it went for 85 minutes, and it was unbelievably entertaining squash. So I hope we have another match like that tonight. Last night, our first player, it was a 3-love victory for him, but the last game I think went on for about 30 minutes. It was a remarkable battle between this player and 17-year-old Mohamed Zakaria. This player won the British Open in 2018, beating Marwan's brother Mohamed Al-Shabak. He was the first South American to win that championship, and he's the highest ranked South American of all time. His Instagram page is definitely worth a follow if you are interested in squash or Porsches. He is, I think, the best dressed squash player on tour, but some of us may beg to differ. I hope he has a fantastic match this evening. Would you welcome, please, from Colombia, Miguel Rodriguez. Our next player had a fantastic match yesterday, and in fact has had a very solid run through the tournament so far. He is yet to drop a game, I think. He wears the Open Squash logo on his shirt as a sponsored player. He was born in Marseille. The French #1, a graduate of Harvard in 2022, the European champion, French Open national champion, World Games 22 champion. Would you please welcome, from France, world record 12, Victor Truan.
Welcome back, folks. It's down to the final match of this evening here in New York in the Financial District, Open Squash, and it is the number 3 seed Miguel Rodriguez taking on Victor Kwan, the number 2 seed from France, the winner of which, of course, will take on Marwan El-Shabagi in tomorrow's final, who we saw take out Greg Lobban earlier today. Joining me once again for the final time today is Nicole Bunyan.
Good afternoon, evening, Paul. Is it afternoon there yet?
Yes, it is. Yeah, nearly 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in Auckland, New Zealand. Great to be tuning in for the squash on display across in New York. It's been really quite an entertaining few matches so far on the semi-final straight, and this match really, if you're talking about an entertainer, you need to look no further than the guy on the left side of the court, Miguel Rodriguez. Always expect the unexpected when this chap's around. And what about that match yesterday? Oh, we must speak about that. Young Mohamed Zakaria, who's recently crowned as the World Junior Champion. Miguel Rodriguez took him out 11-8, 11-7, 16-14 in 75 minutes. And
I mean, experience versus youth. It's, I mean, astonishing from two different sides on Zakaria's his perspective, having the maturity to be able to withstand that duration is super impressive, but also from someone over double his age, being able to do, 20, 30-minute games. That's quite a feat.
Yeah, incredible. Well, his opponent, Victor Kwan, number 2 seed in the event, still got plenty of years ahead of him on the World Tour, 25 years of age. He's been as high as world number 7. He had an absolutely purple patch at probably 18 months to 2 years ago. He strung together some unbelievable results, and it's maybe just been a little bit in and out since then, but we know what the Frenchman is capable of. I think if we can see him find his range and really get some momentum, he'll certainly be looking to take the title here in New York, but he'll be in no way underestimating the task that's ahead of him against such an experienced campaigner. Miguel Rodriguez, as we saw on the graphics earlier, he's been as high as world number 4, British Open champion, so he's got some pretty high accolades, really. And when you talk about someone who's capable of getting a lot of squash balls back, he's your man. So we've not done this so far, Nicole, but I'm going to put you on the spot, seeing as it's the last match of the evening. Who is going to win and what score, please?
I'm going to go for a Kruin victory. I'm going to say 3-1, and there's no chance that is under the hour mark.
Okay.
But I won't give you an exact time.
No chance it's under the hour mark.
Don't see it being likely.
Yeah, I reckon that's a good call, actually. I think you could be on the money there, Nicole.
We could put a bet on it. I'll see you in Hong Kong for the World Teams, where you'll be coaching and I'll be playing. So, if loser buys a beverage.
Oh, okay. Well, you're right and you're wrong. We will both be in Hong Kong, but I will be commentating, not coaching. Because no teams from New Zealand, unfortunately, in the men's or women's, but I will be there on commentary duties.
Well, I will see you there then. I'll be there as well, for both.
Oh, you're commentating there as well?
I'll be commentating
Brilliant.
there as well. We're just getting our practice in right now, getting our trial run in. Prediction from you, Paul?
I'll be honest with you, Nicole. I find it difficult to argue with what you suggested. I think I'm going. All right, I'm going to have to be different. I know. I'm going to say Victor Kwan in 3 games. Yeah, in 3 games, but I think it's going to be long, isn't it? 50 minutes.
50, so you are going under the hour mark.
Yeah, if it's 3 games, I'm going to go with that.
Well, pretty short and sharp so far.
Well, there's a lot of black and a lot of white on the court, not a lot of other colours, which is quite unusual when Rodriguez is around.
It's funny, earlier this year, I was going to say at the Black Ball Open, Miguel, which I was commentating, Miguel Rodriguez lost his stuff. It didn't arrive, and it didn't arrive for several days, actually, so he didn't have any of his own kit. Had to borrow everything, had to borrow, clothes. I think he had a racket with him, so he was able to use his own racket, but didn't have his shoes. And those are obviously a bit of a trademark for him with the mismatched shoes. And that's also, as any squash player will know, that's probably the #1 piece of equipment that you want to have with you, right? Because you break in your shoes. But it was funny seeing him on court. It was almost unrecognizable because his colors were so subdued. He was borrowing, I think it was Mohammed El Sherbini's kit, and we almost couldn't recognize him because he just looked So ordinary. I think actually had a fantastic tournament, not even wearing his own shoes. So maybe he's decided that there's something to it, having the
Yeah.
understated side to it.
And out 2-3.
Well, both predicted a long match, Nicole, but scoreboard's ticking over fairly quickly here in the opening phase.
And out 4-2.
I mean, I can't imagine that Rodriguez wants another marathon like last night, both for mental and physical reasons.
Yeah, well, the Frenchman's not dropped a game thus far in the event. Came through in straight sets against Ali Hussein and then against Velavan Senthil Kilmar from India.
And out 3-4. And out.
Paul, going to put you on the spot a little bit here. Curran hasn't really had the results that we saw from him, maybe last season or earlier, maybe I'd say almost a year and a half ago. Obviously, the quality of the top 10, I think, has risen quite a bit. But what do you think is missing from Curran's game, or what do you think he needs to add and change to get back up into the top 10?
Yeah, that is an interesting question, and I've said this before on commentary with Victor Kwan. When he's on, he's such a fantastic squash player. He's one of my favourite players to watch when he's finding that real severity down the backhand side wall in particular. And, it really doesn't surprise me when I see him pick up wins against the likes of the very top players in the world. He absolutely dominated Paul Cole in the Tournament of Champions. I don't think it was last year, but the previous year. And I think the quality of the squash is absolutely right up there. But one thing that I've seen him potentially struggle with at times is just getting a little bit edgy. So probably just that sort of mental side of things when he puts himself in good positions, or when he's in some pretty I wouldn't say pressurised situations, but just when the points are becoming big, I do think he's had a tendency to get a little bit edgy at times, and that's sort of come back to bite him in terms of his results and not been able to be as consistent as he'd need to be to remain in that top sort of 8 to 10 players in the world. As we said, he's been up to number 7 and showed signs of going higher, but the rankings don't reflect how close you were in matches, do they? It's whether you got it across the line or not. Sorry, it's quite a long-winded answer to your question. I hope it made sense.
No, it certainly did. Yeah, and it's about that consistency, like you said, and I mean, I think to stay in the top 8, or to get into the top 8, and obviously to stay there, and it gets harder the higher you go. But you're playing so many matches, aren't you? If you're getting to the later rounds, and you're not going to be showing up at your best often, right? But I think that's what Farag and just Farag in particular, because he's been so dominant over the last season, he's showing up and finding a way to work his way through, and doesn't have that edginess that you were talking about in such an extreme fashion.
Yeah, that's right. It's got to be consistent across the 12 months. It's not about having a good tournament here and there. It's got to be rock solid all the time. There's a little pirouette from Rodriguez. Crowd enjoyed that rally.
was a crowd pleaser, Rodriguez. He's fantastic to have in for an exhibition. I'll say that much. I've had the pleasure of obviously not playing against him because that would have been actually torturous, being against him in an exhibition, but being on, it was a team event. And I mean, he's just outstanding. He pulls out all the tricks and can make it look, yeah, absolutely amazing. He's got tons of trick shots, and you think you've seen it, just a glimmer of it on Squash TV, and then you see it in a true exhibition format, and it's like, you know, he's turning the racket around and he's hitting it with the handle or something silly like that. Pretty unique. Don't think there's anyone else on tour that's like him.
No, you're right. It's one of those players that draws the crowds, and as you say, unique. You've got the likes of Mazen Hashem, Rami Shaw was similar, wasn't he? Kind of reinvents the game.
Well, there's a lot being said there. Curran was quite daring to actually open the door because pretty sure that that's nearly a criminal offense in the squash world these days. But the ref just making clear that he wants the players to move off the ball a little bit more smoothly. To be fair, that we saw that earlier in the men's match between Sherbagi and Lobin, where the ref clamped down on it in the early stages, and then we didn't see any more interference from then, or much talking after that. So certainly a good choice from the ref to be a little bit more strict early on.
Yeah, 100%. It's these two players are very entertaining, and we don't want to see a match that's full of conversations with the referee, but there was that example of the backhand severity from the Frenchman. That's an incredible amount of cut on the ball when he's taking it in short, and he plays that quick kill into that left side. So locked in at 8-all in the opening game. There it is again.
Oh, wow.
What happened there?
Well, it wasn't far away.
That was a bizarre movement that Rodriguez did.
Little
I'll
pirouette.
have to go back and watch this again. It was obviously found the 10, but
That just reminded me of actually at the black ball tournament, Rodriguez obviously wasn't wearing his own shoes, and I guess they didn't fit perfectly, and he went for he slid, and one of his shoes came off, and so he picked it up and he was holding it in his hand, and he was playing the rally with one shoe.
playing the rally.
He actually won the rally, and he's playing Tarek Momen, who was in utter disbelief. I really couldn't hold myself together. I was in tears laughing. It was so funny. But yeah, you just, like you said, expect the unexpected. That's a big miss.
And down 10-9, game ball.
A huge miss there from Rodriguez. With the slimmest of leads now, the number 2 seed. Just one single game ball. Pretty keen to get this in the bank, I'm sure, the Frenchman. Certainly not been an easy first game.
Oh, he's done well to
On the
get through.
attack. Oh, it's delicate from Kwan. It's a no-let to end the game away of the Frenchman. What a rally that was. A game ball. Kwan had to battle his way through that first game. 14 minutes. It came off, well, both players came off to a bit of a flyer, really. It looked like it was going to be a short game, but tightened up towards the end, and it is the number 2 seed takes the first game in 14 minutes. 11-9, leads by 1 game to love.
They will resume in 60 seconds. They will resume in 30 seconds.
Well, I'm not sure about yourself, Nicole, but I feel that first game going the way of Victor Kwan, especially the way that it unfolded, will be a huge boost to the Frenchman, given the length of time Rodriguez spent on court yesterday. I feel that he potentially would have needed that first.
Yeah, certainly. Just the way that it ended as well, hit a bit of a cheap error and then tried to get kind of a quick one with that little flick instead of perhaps lifting out of trouble and extending. So by his standards would have given that up perhaps a little bit too easily just at the back end. Who knows, could be some minor signs of mental fatigue, but the margins are so fine, aren't they? Guess we're playing someone, obviously Rodriguez has been top 10, he's been top 5 in the world, and so is squash IQ is incredibly high. But he's up against the youth of Kruin, who's also exceptionally organized on a squash court.
Yeah, he is, and it's really quite fascinating listening to him talk about how he'll analyse his matches. He'll go back and watch and look for the minutest of details, and really is the ultimate student of the game, Victor Kwan.
Yeah, he's not afraid to share his findings publicly either, which I find quite refreshing.
Yeah, that's right.
Loves an Instagram post. Well, Kruin was pretty much leaping in the air to get his racket on that one, so you can kind of understand Rodriguez's frustration.
Again, it's that front left corner from Kwan, sticking the ball to the side wall in there.
Well, you can hear the home support. This is one of the clubs that sponsors Kruin. Open Squash has a few pros on their roster. Gina Kennedy and Ali Farag being a couple of the other highly ranked ones. I also play there as well. But you can just hear that all the members are out in full force, which is nice. Pretty good stadium seating back there that they've put up for the event. He's not going to go away from it, is he, Paul? You clocked that one early on, front left-hand corner.
Yeah.
Incredibly consistent.
Yeah, it's a trademark shot of his. Looking a bit frustrated, a bit rattled, isn't he, Rodriguez? Oh, I mean, I've been talking about it a lot now, that backhand, but that was played absolutely to perfection, that backhand volley drop shot. It's cruising. He looks really comfortable out there. He looks like he's getting better as the match goes on, actually, the Frenchman. Oh, that sounds down. Ooh.
5-6. I called it, Mr. Rodriguez. 5-6.
That's another beauty from the racket of Victor Kwan. He needed it really, because Rodriguez was just starting to show signs of drawing level on the scoreboard.
Oh, I mean, even when he's not really meaning to, he's still finding a way to make that front left corner work for him.
Yeah, didn't quite make the front wall there for Rodriguez. Just looks to me with the body language to be just fading a little bit, to be honest. Hope he proves me wrong and finds a way to really get stuck into this match again, but aside from a couple of points, it's been all Victor Kwan this second game, I feel. Lovely little use of the trickle bows.
Terrific variation.
Sets himself up. 5 game balls now for the Frenchman. Lovely, delicate fading bows from Rodriguez. Pulls another one back. Still 3 game balls for the number 2 seed. Just taking a moment to compose himself at the towel box there, Victor Kwan. I might want to see another point go the way of the Colombian, that's for sure.
No, he's managed to keep a lid on Rodriguez's flare. And he wants to keep it that way because Rodriguez is not going to give up the ghost. And he knows how to weather the storm as well when the going gets tough. Read it.
Oh, beautiful. Again, you can see the frustration from Rodriguez. What a brilliant little forehand drop shot to get that second game in the bank. It was important for the Frenchman as well because Rodriguez was coming back, but it was a 10-minute second game. After 26 minutes, it's the number 2 seed Victor Kwan leading by 2 games to love.
Well, Paul, my prediction of the over the hour mark is not looking quite so good, is it?
Yeah, it's not impossible, Nicole. It's not impossible, but I do feel that Miguel Rodriguez has got a massive task in front of him if he's gonna turn this match around just a little bit. What's the word? Just sort of faded a little bit in that sort of middle stage of the second game. I know he mounted quite a comeback towards the back end of the game, but it's a big lead he gave to the. That's wrong, isn't it? To say he'd given Kwan a big lead. Kwan was pretty severe with his attacks into that front left corner.
Yeah, and he had a good patch of them as well, didn't he? Where he's able to build that confidence. It was about 3-4 in a row. Gave him so much momentum. Oh, there it is again. Anything that's slightly loose or short on that backhand side is going into the front left like clockwork. Lovely high follow through as well. I was just going to say, Paul, that Kieran must be one of the best players when we're talking about coordinating racket preparation with like the first step off the tee. It looks so efficient, and there's just such little room for error, isn't there? So, you know, when he takes in that quick stun, that quick drop, it looks really easy and simple because he's prepared so early. But I mean, I had a practice match yesterday, and I hit 2 of those straight into the tin with a pretty flat racket face, which is due to poor preparation. So something that he's made to look so easy.
Yeah. No, it is a pretty sound technique that we're looking at with Victor Kwan. Very early, quite compact in his racket preparation, but always looks to have plenty of time on the ball. Very explosive with the movement as well to back that up. It's lethal combination, aggressive movement, early racket preparation, and then when you take in a shot like we've just seen there, just sort of thumbs it into the sidewall for a trickle boast. It's very tough to cope with. Again, it's all pressure from the Frenchman. Corner to corner movement for Rodriguez. So it's not lived up to the marathon battle that we were expecting. The MC had given the crowd a heads up that this was likely to last a very long time, but it's, up until this point, been fairly straightforward. The rallies have not been hugely long.
That's why. Not a particularly poor drive from Rodriguez. Wasn't more than a few inches away from the sidewall, but right now with the 2-love lead and up 5-3, Curran's just gonna take every ounce of confidence that he has, and he's just gonna multiply it. You can see Curran setting the trap, can't you? Just holding really strong on the tee.
The 4-point cushion now for Victor Kwan. Oh, tell you what, I don't think that was coming back if it was above the 10, but he just pulls 1 point back.
Bit of outward frustration from Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's never really looked that settled in this match for me. Got a bit jaded, whether that's a physical thing or the pressure from his opponent. A bit animated at times.
Hasn't been able to unsettle and create the edginess about Kruin. He's just been able to kind of carry on business as usual, but
Tell you what, that was a wicked volley.
Taking a page out of the Frenchman's book. Well, Paul looked like a winner to me, but ref deeming the outcome just a stroke to Kruin.
Well, he's just found the top of the 10, and in Victor Kwan 5 match balls, it's been far more straightforward in terms of duration and the scoreline than we'd expected. 5 match balls. Marwan El Shabagi in that tomorrow's final. But it's only going to take one match ball for the Frenchman. Business-like performance from him. Absolutely fantastic work down that left side wall at times. It's too much for Rodriguez to handle. And in just 37 minutes, the number 2 seed, who moves on to tomorrow's final. Wheel of victory.
With your A game, is that your A game? I think so. Well, congratulations. You haven't dropped a game yet in the tournament. Do you remember what it feels like to lose again? Squash, are you worried about maybe losing one tomorrow or not? Yeah, no, I do lose a lot of games. On feeding, but also on training. So I'll be ready if I drop a game. I'll make sure I'm safe in the next one. But with Miguel, first rally onwards, and the first game was a bit scrappy. We did a lot of mistakes, so he had a lot of opportunities to get that first game. I think that was crucial for the rest. It did feel like you were attacking the girl successfully. Watching him last night against Mohamed Zakaria, Mohamed was trying to attack him, wasn't being successful, just tripping everything. But Your attack in the front court seems to be going particularly well.
Yeah, I mean, actually, you guys, this is probably the features where also going to the making run and also constantly being able to have penalties. You know those four corners so well that you just have to make sure you keep visiting them. But yeah, no, I felt really good in the front corners both sides. So I hope I can bring that again tomorrow.
Okay, last question. You got a little, you hugged afterwards, I assume you much respect and love yourself, but there was one point where you turned around and said, I'm not blocking you. So what was going on? And what was it unusual for you to talk direct to a player in a match? Because I don't often do it. And it's quite surprising. I was surprised you did it. What was going on with you?
Yeah, we haven't been fighting each other. Yeah, I mean there were definitely contacts. Trying my best from the beginning to try and avoid them. But sometimes it's like you get out of position and then you're hitting the ball in the opposite corner.
Well, that wraps up the play for today. Semifinals at the Open Squash Classic 2024 are now complete. Earlier on, we saw Farida Mohammed dispatch Katie Maliff pretty convincingly, 3-0. That was followed by Marwan El-Sharbaghi, who had a little bit more of a testing affair after a 25-minute first game, but then followed up with the next 3 pretty convincingly against Greg Lobin. Then it was the giant killer Lee Kai-yi of Hong Kong who took down Holly Naughton of Canada 3-1. So she's in for a big final tomorrow against Mohammed. And then finally, Victor Curran dispatching Miguel Rodriguez. That's where his name will go in there, right next to Marwan El-Sharbaghi. So join us again tomorrow, starting at 6:30 p.m. local time here in New York. Have a great evening, everyone.